afternoon as we start to take a different perspective. So again, the kind of design of the speeches today, the speakers that we've invited, and very, very particularly the roundtables, we're all very, very keen for you to become very involved in this afternoon. So we'll have scribes there and we'll be recording them so we can take notes and pass them back to each other. We're going to be starting to look at different perspectives around disability this afternoon. We're going to be looking at intersectionality. We're going to be looking at medical issues as well. And it's very, very important that we look in these different and associated and aligned areas of practice, because disabled people are part of those ecosystems and are part of those conversations too. So hopefully as we go on to dissect in greater detail these different perspectives this afternoon, that'll help reveal a little bit more for us to consider ahead of those roundtables discussions. So that's enough talking from me. I'm very, very grateful to have a wonderful colleague and a fellow trustee for youth music as well, who's agreed to come and talk today. So I'd like to welcome to the stage from NHS England, Sarah Brown.
Very much. Hello, good afternoon. Is it working okay? It sounds like it is. I can hear my voice echoing. So hi, yes, as Andrew said, my name's Sarah Brown. I'm head of children, young people and perinatal mental health at NHS England for the time being. Who knows what the future holds? We shall see. And also very privileged to be a trustee at Youth Music, and also a classically trained musician. So kind of bringing a range of different perspectives to this today, and you know, having kind of come up through the arts from, you know, being a small child, I recognise the intrinsic value of music and the arts. I recognise that it gives us a sense of purpose, a sense of place, of belonging, of connection, of community, of self-worth, and a language of expression. And all of those things are absolutely critical when we're thinking about the positive building blocks around emotional well-being and mental health. And that's why it's really exciting for me to be able to bring my professional and personal lives together and be able to talk at events like today. I think it's so important that we're kind of thinking about how we build those bridges across sectors, and obviously from my perspective, specifically between the NHS and the kind of creative arts sector and the music sector. Just to give you a little bit of context about where we are in terms of children and young people's mental health at the moment. People will see the headlines. You kind of can't open a newspaper or click on an online news site without hearing a story, a negative story about children and young people's mental health. And it's true that there has been a significant increase in mental health needs of children and young people. Back in 2017, it was around 1 in 8 young people had a probable mental health disorder. In the most recent survey, which was done in 2023, that had gone up to 1 in 5. And for some groups of young people, that's even higher. For young women, particularly. For young people with intersecting needs, we've already talked about it, high levels of co-occurrence around learning disability, autistic children who are autistic, and young people with neurodiversity. And those young people are some of the young people who have the kind of greatest challenges in accessing services, which is why this kind of whole thing fits together, really, because although we've seen significant growth in the number of children and young people accessing support since 2018-2019, which was the start of the NHS kind of existing policy framework, the long-term plan, we've had an increase of over 60% around children accessing services. That's over 300,000 additional children and young people accessing NHS-funded support, so a little over 820,000 children access support as of in the 12 months up to February 2025, which is amazing. And that the NHS workforce for children and young people's mental health, that specialty is the fastest growing specialty in the NHS. So the huge amount of growth, which has been amazing, and services are working, and staff within them working incredibly hard. I mean, can't emphasize enough how much amazing work is going on in often very challenging circumstances. But those challenges remain, because although we've had this 60% increase in access, that still only equates to around about 48% of probable mental health need. So that's less than 50% of children and young people who have a probable mental health disorder who are accessing support for that need. We know that the economic burden of that need is significant. The Centre for Mental Health estimates that as loss to the economy of something like £300 billion per annum. So it's really significant. And we know most disorders start in childhood and adolescence, so 50% by the time they're 14, half by the time that they're 18, 60%, just over 60% by the time they're 25. And these are disorders which, by and large, we have amazing interventions that can support and can change that trajectory for children and young people. So there's much more that we need to do. But we're in a really tight fiscal environment, and I think we need to think differently about how we're doing things. And the manifesto commitments for the current government set out a mandate for us to think about how we do things differently. They're talking about the shift towards more community-based intervention. We see it in the Darcy report. We see it in the 10-year plan with those kind of 3 themes, 2 of which are particularly pertinent to this, although actually having heard some of the presentations earlier about the use of technology, you know, that those shifts around hospital to community, treatment to prevention, analog to digital, that there's a real opportunity for us to think differently. And in fact, you know, government are asking us to be really innovative. They're giving us permission to be radical in the way that we're thinking about the design and delivery of services. So I think it's really exciting to be here as part of this conversation, thinking about what music and the arts sector can do in partnership with the NHS to better support these children and young people. There are some amazing examples around the country. Music Works up the road in Gloucester doing fantastic work in partnership with the NHS. The Warren up in Hull doing some fantastic work with children and young people, often who are on the edge of the criminal justice system, doing work with our vanguards, providing innovative, community-based, holistic, engagement-driven, needs-led models of support, working with the NHS, providing that kind of safe and effective practice, building on the evidence base of what we know works, but using those relationships with trusted adults within young people's network, supporting them, scaffolding those practitioners to be able to deliver therapeutically informed, psychologically informed interventions. We see it also at 42nd Street in Manchester, a youth hub providing holistic interventions and support in a really non-stigmatising way, but working again in partnership with the NHS. There was a question earlier about support for older adults, and thinking of Manchester Camerata have got the new Centre of Excellence for working with music and dementia, outside of my field of experience and expertise. But there is amazing pockets of work going on around the country. And this is our opportunity to amplify. And I think that's why adding our collective voices to this endeavour, this shared endeavour, to think differently, to take that mandate, to use the agency that's afforded to us to be able to create a new framework for the way that we are delivering support and services. Yes, it would be fantastic to have more money, but these areas are doing this because they believe in it, they're driving innovation, and I think that that's what's really critically important to remember. We hear it time and time again from children and young people, and I'm put in mind, I was up at the Lowry a few weeks ago for the Arts Council event up there, and they had a group of young people from the Warren, from Music Works, from Zest Arts in the Midlands, who gave a response, their own creative response to the consultation on the NHS 10-year plan. And, you know, I've been in rooms like that around the country many, many times over the last kind of 15, 20 years that I've worked in children's services. And, you know, the time is now to make that change. We've heard this for for far too long. Children and young people are really clear about how we need to do things differently, and it feels like now is a real moment to do that. So thank you very much to Andrew and the team for inviting me to be a part of this conference today. It's been an absolute joy. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. I've been handed a note, so I've got to do a little bit of housekeeping. With the owner of a white Audi WV72UYH, if that is your vehicle, please, if you could just go and move it because it's blocking some stuff in. If you need a couple of minutes before you stand up and go and look, I'm going to go tell everyone outside as well. So what we're going to do now, our next speaker, before we get into our roundtable afternoon, which I'm very excited for, our next speaker, we're very, very lucky to welcome Dr. Rhoda Bernard, who's head of program at Berkeley Institute for Accessible Arts Education. So we're just going to reset now to get the screen back working. So 2 minutes, talk amongst yourselves, get some more pastries, get some drinks, and we'll have our next speaker before our roundtables. Thank you.
So much technology, so little time.
1, 2. Fabulous. Rhoda, can you hear me?
I can.
You can hear me. Can we hear you? Can you just say a quick hello to us?
Hello, everyone across the pond.
Wonderful. Okay, fabulous. Okay, Rhoda, I'm going to do a very, very quick introduction and hand straight across to you. So I hope that's okay.
That's fine. So am I right that I won't be able to see the audience?
You won't be able to see the audience, but what I might do is I'll switch on my laptop and turn it around so you can see the room you're talking to. How about that?
That would be lovely. And as you introduce me, I'm going to share my screen.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Rhoda.
My pleasure.
So, for our final speaker today, I'm incredibly proud to be able to say we've got Rhoda Bernard, who's Programme Director at the Berklee Institute for Accessible Arts Education. Last year, I was very lucky to go out to Boston, and Rhoda sorted me a ticket to the Able Assembly Conference, which is run at Berklee in Boston. And this year, I think, I can't remember how many of us went out to Boston, but we had a little bit of a British invasion and took out some of the accessibility organisations and music organisations from the UK to do a bit of a takeover of the Berklee programme. I think it's fair to say we had a fabulous time. We really, really felt our family grow, and I think it was a much needed dollop of community consensus at a time when I think we really need it the most. So I'm incredibly grateful to have Rhoda join us here at Access to Music this year. Able Assembly was very much inspired how we approach this, so it's a great honour if we could just round of applause for Rhoda to welcome her to our conference. Thank you, Rhoda.
Thank you, Andrew. It is a pleasure to be with you across the pond. And I'm going to watch the time for us. This is a topic that I could talk about for a long time, and I have, but I'm going to keep it to our 15 minutes today because I know you've got a schedule. So my name is Dr. Rhoda Bernard, and I have 2 titles at Berklee College of Music. I'm the founding managing director of the Institute for Accessible Arts Education. I am also the assistant chair of the Music Education Department. And today I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the work of the Berklee Institute for Accessible Arts Education to give you a window into what we do in our organization across the pond. So very, very brief introduction. I don't think we're going to have much time for Q&A, but if we do, I'd love to do that. So this is a little bit about me. I'm not going to read this to you, but just to give you a sense of some of the work that I do and my background. I've had a couple of really wonderful recent honors. In November of 2023, I received the Irene Buck Service to Arts Education Award from Arts Learning, which is an arts advocacy organization in Massachusetts. That is a picture of me with Irene Buck herself, who is a spitfire and a world mover and shaker. She presented the award to me. It was a great honor. And then in 2015, a little while ago, the work of the Berklee Institute for Accessible Arts Education, which was then situated at Boston Conservatory, received the Commonwealth of Massachusetts Cultural Council Award in the category of access. Something that's on the near horizon is that my forthcoming book, titled Accessible Arts Education: Principles, Habits, and Strategies to Unleash Every Student's Creativity and Learning, will be released in September 2025 by Solution Tree Press. There is the flyer. We haven't finalized the cover design yet. We're still working on it. And I'll make sure that these slides get out to Andrew and get out to all of you. It is available for pre-order, and I'm super excited about it. So our mission at the Berklee Institute for Accessible Arts Education is to break down barriers for people with disabilities in all aspects of visual and performing arts education. We consider ourselves to be a catalyst for the inclusion of people with disabilities in performing and visual arts education. We have a long history that began at Boston Conservatory, move over to Berklee when the 2 institutions merged legally in 2016. In our work, we've coined the acronym ABLE, which stands for Arts Better the Lives of Everyone. There are 3 legs to the stool of our work. We provide arts education programs for people with disabilities of all ages. We have undergraduate and graduate courses and programs in accessible arts education, and we do a whole lot of professional development for the field, including the Able Assembly Conference that Andrew so kindly mentioned. So our arts education programs, here's a picture of some students and instructors in one of them. We serve over 325 students with disabilities around the world every week, both in person in Boston on Saturdays and online 7 days a week, 24 hours a day. Our students run from ages 3 to 93 and in all disability populations. We offer 18 music programs, 2 adaptive dance programs, and an adaptive theater program, as I said, both in person and online. They are year-round, weekly, and we also have 2 weeks of an in-person summer camp for individuals with disabilities that's music-based. Our programs are both performance-based programs and non-performance-based programs. So in addition to ensembles and lessons and those sorts of things, we also offer courses like music technology, music theory, music history, and ear training. We have, it's now 55 instructors. All of them are either current graduate students in our graduate programs, undergraduate students at Berkeley who are going through an apprenticeship program with us, or alumni from our graduate programs. So we train everybody in-house, and we have a lot of undergraduate student assistants and some graduate assistants as well. So this is a list of all of our arts education programs and some of their ancillary offerings as well. I'm not going to go through all of this, but just to know, our students start as young as age 3, go to age 93, and participate in a wide range of music, as well as adaptive dance and adaptive theater programming. We offer over 130 private music lessons every week on all of these instruments, as well as music technology, music reading, composition, arranging, and something we call general music, which is sort of an introduction to and an exploration of musical principles and musical concepts through experimentation and performance. So wide range of private lessons that we offer. One of our connected programs is our Nurturing Leaders program, which is a career readiness program. So a number of our young adult students and families are looking for ways to be prepared for careers. So we have a program where they take career readiness classes. They engage in paid internships at our institute in various roles. They have mentoring from our team. And the internships start with us, go to other places within Berkeley, and later, when they're ready, go to Boston area partner organizations, and then we continue to pay them. So it's a wonderful opportunity to provide. We now have 16 students in this program. It's a selected group of students, these opportunities. One of our other ancillary programs is something called the Artist Mixtape Project, or Able AMP, where there are selected composers and performers every year, and students in whatever classes or lessons that they engage in prepare and perform repertoire by those composers and performers. And at the end of the year, they submit videos of those performances, and we stitch them together for a mixtape virtual concert. We are right now collecting our Able AMP performances for 2024, 2025. Another lovely ancillary program that we offer is our lobby performance series. So as I said, we have 2 buildings. They're posted here, where our in-person programming takes place on Saturdays. And we choose selected Saturdays for lobby performances where students can sign up and get teacher approval to do an informal performance of something that they're working on. This way, people are walking into the lobby of the building and they're greeted immediately by music or dance or theater right in front of them. It's been very exciting to see the different shapes that these lobby performances take, and they are very popular. We have a lot of folks hanging out in the lobbies to watch them. So the arts education programs make a significant impact on our students, on their families, and on their lives, and on their futures. And I'm fortunate that I have the kind of job where I receive unsolicited feedback from people all the time about the difference of what our work is making for them. At Berklee College of Music, we offer an undergraduate course in accessible music education called Music and the Neurodivergent Learner. It's an elective in the music education program and part of our teaching artistry minor. It's wonderful to engage with undergraduates with this material. And then we offer 2 graduate programs in accessible music education. This is the second leg of our stool. And these are the first programs of their kind in the world. We started them in 2014. Although we serve all disability populations, our academic focus is on autism spectrum disorder. So we have a Master of Music and Music Education with an autism concentration and a graduate certificate in music education and autism. These programs are designed for working teachers with courses in the summers and then in the evenings. The difference between them is the first one is a full master's degree. The second is just the autism core, the accessible music education core. It's 5 3-credit seminars for someone who already has a master's degree but wants focused study and to receive a credential. This is the list of courses in the accessible music education core. It ranges from an introduction to the broader foundations and practices of special education to a focus on autism spectrum disorders from all perspectives: sociological, societal, historical, psychological, biological, behavioral, educational, all of the perspectives, to a course that takes evidence-based practices in special education and applies them to music and autism. That's autism, music, and behavioral teaching methods. And then to 2 courses that I teach, actually, which are looking at research in the field of accessible arts education and what does that mean for practice, and actually trying things out in their own practice and reporting on it. The third leg of our stool is our professional development. This is a photo from the 2023 Able Assembly Arts Better the Lives of Everyone conference. We offer a wide range of professional development programs and resources to share our knowledge with the field and to make opportunities for people to connect. A lot of times, individuals and organizations that do work in access and disability and the arts are alone. And we want to create a place where we make connections. And it's been so wonderful to make this great connection across the pond. I'm not going to go through all of these. I will say that the conference is our flagship program. It's April 10th to 12th next year. We do an annual symposium the Saturday before American Thanksgiving that's fully online, and then offer a wide range of other kinds of programming for different organizations. We push out resources through a searchable resource center, a blog, a podcast, a network, those sorts of things. This is the conference, gives you a sense of it. It's 3 days. It's in person, but you can also attend online. That's the clearinghouse of resources that I mentioned, fully searchable, continuously updated. That is our blog that publishes monthly, aimed at teachers in all art forms. This is our podcast where disabled artists interview other disabled artists about their work and about their arts education. It drops twice a month. And then we do some work internally at Berklee. This is me presenting at an internal Berklee conference for Berklee faculty called Berklee Teachers on Teaching. We support the faculty, staff, and students at Berklee by giving workshops and presentations for various departments as well as institution-wide. We consult with administrators and faculty. We present at that conference. We've created a capsule called the Inclusive Teaching and Learning Capsule of resources for faculty at Berklee to use to help make their teaching of Berklee courses more accessible. And we have training modules that we've created for faculty and staff as well. This is the Inclusive Teaching and Learning Capsule. It has 6 modules. It's only available to Berklee faculty. It is full of resources customized to Berklee courses. So what does a Berklee ear training course look like when it's made more accessible. So we engaged with colleagues, have resources and syllabi from courses as they are, and we're sharing with how courses can be made more accessible. And it's classes, ensembles, lessons, lectures, and seminars. We also look deeply at assessment, how to assess college students more accessibly. This work has been very powerful at Berkeley, and our colleagues at other institutions around the world want access to these materials. And we can't share this, but what we are doing is we are now in the middle of the process of turning this capsule into a book that will be published hopefully in a year or two. That will share these materials and make them applicable to broad situations for all collegiate arts educators. We have a number of partnerships with organizations that are local, national, and international. This is a representative list, but our actual list is quite a bit longer. But we work with school systems, arts organizations, media organizations, nonprofits, colleges and universities around the world, lots and lots of different organizations and organizational profiles, and we have many different projects. And then this is my contact information, and it looks like we actually might have a few minutes for questions and discussion. So I'm going to stop the share and turn to Andrew around time management. And do we have a few minutes? I can't hear you. You are muted. The answer is yes. So I'm going to wait until someone tells me to stop, and we'll see if there are any questions or comments or things that I can respond to from all of you. And I'm not exactly sure how you share those with me, but I will let the tech folks over there figure that piece out. I can.
So yes, we do have the opportunity to 1 or 2 questions. We do have Dr. Rhoda Bernard here. So has anyone got a question? Come over here. We've got a question. Just coming over with the mic.
And please tell me your name.
Yeah. We also have tech gremlins this side of the pond as well, Rhoda. You'll be pleased to hear.
The mic is coming to you.
The cables are all tangled. So I'm Sarah Morley Wilkins from the UK, from the International Daisy Consortium. My interest is in accessible music for blind and partially sighted and print disabled musicians. Does any of your curriculum cover any of that, or maybe we could give you some content to begin to include?
So we work with a lot of individuals who are blind and low vision. And actually at Berkeley, one of our advisory board members, and Andrew has met him, is a gentleman named Chi Kim, who is a blind musician, and he leads an assistive music technology lab where he works with Berkeley College students and students from my institute, from the community who are blind and low vision. And he has designed a whole lot of software, tools that individuals who are blind and low vision can use, particularly to compose and arrange and produce music, which has been really exciting. So the answer is we do a lot of that work. But I'm going to also answer your question by pushing back on something. Because you asked me if our curriculum contains things. We write curriculum for other organizations, but we don't believe that there should be a single curriculum. Everything we do is differentiated to meet each individual student where they are. So yes, do we have a textbook that we use for our music theory class and a plan? Sure, but there's no curriculum in the sense of what happens each day, because what happens each day depends on the group of students in the room and exactly what they need.
So actually, to qualify what I was commenting on, you focus clearly on autism and resources for neurodiverse.
We work with all disability populations.
But do you raise awareness of the need for accessible music for print disabled musicians too?
We work with all disability populations. We raise the need for accessibility for all disabilities. The only aspect of autism is the academic focus of our coursework at Berkeley. Our work as an institution is much broader than that.
And actually, Chi Kim did a presentation with Jay Pocknell from RNIB here, so it'd be good to have a chat with them, and they did a brilliant session. I think we're going to have to call it there on the questions. I'm so sorry.
I'm sorry too, but I understand. I wish you all the wonderful rest of your time together, and huge thanks to Andrew for this opportunity. And I will send my slides, and my contact information is there. I'd be very happy to speak with anyone or to be in touch. So thank you all so very much. And greetings across the pond. Bye-bye.
Okay, we're going to get straight into the roundtables now. So I'm going to ask for Dr. Adrian Bossy to join me on stage. Go on, give him a round of applause. He deserves it.
Sadly, though, I don't deserve to be called a doctor, though. So.
Oh, I've done it again, haven't I? All right, let's just move on swiftly. I just want to bring Adrian up so we can give you a little bit of a narrative about what's going to happen for the rest of the afternoon. So we have 2 one-hour sessions. We'll have policy and process, which is going to be held in this room here. On the first floor, there is a room where we'll be having live events and events conversations. And on the top floor in the tech room, which hasn't had enough visitors yet, I think we need to get to the top floor and the tech room and have a look. You've got one of the most comprehensive collections of adapted instruments and new technologies in the UK. For goodness sake, go and use it, have a play, have a look. But we'll also be having roundtables in there, so you can have a play as well as a chat up on that top floor. But I also just wanted to invite Adrian to kind of just talk a little bit about the conference, mainly because he's my co-conspirator, and this mess doesn't just all happen it's not all my fault entirely. And again, what we want to do with this afternoon sessions, we're going to be recording them, we're going to be taking scribes and top lines, and we're going to be sharing that information back. Everything you've seen and heard today, everything you're going to talk about this afternoon, we're going to work back into a narrative that we can respond to. So I'm going to hand over to Adrian, and then we're going to set you all to your rooms.
Thank you. So I don't want to take up too much of anybody's time at this point, because I think we really need to get to the round tables. But I just wanted to re-emphasise the importance that we sort of perceive around collaborative working between academia and industry and educators more generally. That was really part of the kind of spark of Andrew's concept and idea around access to music, and we collaborated a bit last year. We've collaborated a little more this year. We it's been an honour to co-curate elements of this, and we want to continue to do that, continue to sort of grow the collaboration in a spirit of openness and learning and kindness as well. So a kind of debate where we can kindly share concerns and develop practice and pick up on some of the stuff that Matt said this morning as well in terms of advocating for change, which I thought was really powerful as well. So that is what I would like to say. Thank you so much for coming, and please enjoy the round tables. Please, I think someone said earlier, let's be welcoming, let's try and meet people we don't know. I think that's super important as well. There's a real power in the room, and power in sharing, power in being kind, and power in kind of meeting and collaborating together. So thank you, and bon voyage for your voyage through this afternoon's round tables.
Okay, so pick a room. Top floor, music education and notation. Middle floor is going to be live music and performances. This floor we'll be doing policy and practice. So if you'd like to get yourself into your rooms now, we'll start up and get going. Thank you very much.